Take a swallow of lake water. It's not exactly a five-star experience, but it is fresh. Now, take an accidental gulp at the beach, and your lips instantly pucker. It is intensely, undeniably salty. So why is the ocean salty when the rivers feeding it are completely fresh? To figure that out, think of our planet as a giant, incredibly patient cook, and the ocean as her signature dish, a massive, sloshing bowl of soup. Look at this photograph of Earth from space. Seeing the sheer scale of this dish, you realize exactly how much water we are talking about. Over 70% of the globe is covered in this blue broth. Getting the flavor right on a batch that large is no accident. It took billions of years of careful prep work to arrive at this exact salty recipe. Every good soup starts with ingredients, and the ocean gets its seasoning straight from the sky. Rain is actually slightly acidic, and when those drops hit the ground, they act like a natural dissolver, breaking down the surfaces they touch. As the rain washes over mountains and land masses, it pulls microscopic pieces of minerals and salts right out of the hard stone. Those drops gather into streams and then flow into rivers. You can think of rivers as giant spoons, constantly scraping the land and carrying those dissolved pinches of salt directly into the ocean. This split-screen animation shows why rivers don't taste salty while doing all this work. On the left, the salt in the stream is very spread out, and the water is rushing past you. But on the right, once those salt pieces hit the ocean, they stop moving. The water eventually evaporates back into the clouds, leaving the salt trapped in the bowl. If rivers kept delivering salt into the sea for millions of years without a break, the water would eventually become so thick and heavy that nothing could survive in it. Since the rivers never stop adding salt, something has to be taking it back out. Otherwise, the ocean would eventually turn into a solid, salty rock. Miles below the surface, the ocean floor is split open by deep, boiling hot cracks that act like the kitchen's drain. This black smoker vent pumps thick smoke. Cold water is sucked into the hot rock, baked and stripped of minerals before shooting chemically changed water back into the sea. Near this boiling, harsh environment, clusters of pale crabs and long tube worms thrive right at the edge of the heat. The entire volume of the world's oceans eventually cycles through these deep vents. The seafloor pulls in the salt brought by the rivers and keeps the overall recipe steady for hundreds of millions of years. Up near the surface, the animals swimming in this salty soup face a constant physical challenge. Salt naturally wants to pull fresh water toward it, which means the ocean is trying to suck the fresh water right out of the bodies of the fish living there. This animation shows exactly how that challenge works. If you drop a water balloon filled with fresh water into a very salty bucket, the fresh water inside will be sucked right out through the rubber, leaving the balloon completely shriveled up. To avoid shrinking like that balloon, ocean fish have developed a clever defense. They drink seawater all day long, and their bodies act like tiny treatment plants that actively pump the excess salt back out through their gills. Some animals go a step further. Bull sharks and salmon can change their own internal chemistry, altering how salty they are on the inside to match whatever water they are swimming through at that moment. Marine life is never passively floating in the sea. Every fish and crab performs a constant, active chemical trick just to survive the recipe. Right now, though, the Earth is warming up, which is essentially like turning up the burner on the stove. As the ocean warms up today, the surface water vaporizes into the air much faster than it used to. When all that extra water escapes up into the clouds, the salt is left behind in the bowl. Because this process is speeding up, the salty parts of the ocean are becoming even saltier, while the extra rain is dumping all that fresh water into other areas. This rhythm of rivers and vents has kept the ocean's salt level stable for eons, but that balance is beginning to shift. Protecting the ocean's chemistry means keeping the water safe for every creature that